Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spill the Tea Radio, where we interview awesome singer-songwriters and those who influence their lives. Spill the Tea Radio explores the journey, creativity, and inspiration behind the songs. My next guest is the frontman of the Cliks, now a solo artist. He made a history as the first openly transgender man signed by a major label with Warner Music, with Tommy Boy in 2006. He's been on global stages alongside music greats like Cyndi Lauper, the B-52s, Debbie Harry, Tegan and Sara, The Cult, and the New York Dolls. His most recent project is a solo album of originals released in 2022 titled The Goddamn Flowers. So, let's spill the tea with Lucas Silveira. Welcome, Lucas.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a great pleasure to have you on. You've got so much experience in the music business, so much history in the music business. I don't even know where to start. So why don't we just start with how did you get into this business? What inspired you to become a musician?
I grew up in a family with a father who was a musician and a singer, and he really nurtured music in me, my brother and sister, who all subsequently ended up being musicians and singers in our own way. Um, I wrote my first song when I was about 11 years old, I think, and my dad was always playing music, always telling us that, how important music was. And so it just became this nurtured part of me that I think was also sort of like a natural piece of me. I don't know if genetics have anything to do with people who love music creating other people who love music, but that certainly ended up being the case in my family. And then, being a kid in the 70s and the 80s and looking, on TV and listening to the radio, and you just heard like all the best music. And I got this bug, and all I could think about was, I want to be a rock star. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
Mhm.
And it never left, unfortunately. And so, yeah. And then I think I performed for the first time when I was 18 years old. I like that.
What was your most memorable performance? You didn't get to do Paul McCartney and George Michael, but what was your most memorable time on stage?
This is going to be the funniest answer because people always think I performed. So, Cyndi Lauper on the True Colors tour, she asked me specifically if I would sing a song with her at the end of her set, which was Money Changes Everything. She didn't ask anybody else. And I was like, why would in the world would she ask me? Ends up, she really liked my voice, thought I was a good singer. I was like, awesome. That was spectacular and super cool. But on that tour, the Indigo Girls were on one part of the tour, and not all the dates, but when they came on, I think it was we were playing Radio City Music Hall, which was, obviously like, holy crap, what a dream come true. But I met them that night, and then at the end of the show, we would all sing together. And I remember when I was going off stage, the two members of the Indigo Girls, whose names, of course, are escaping me right now, walked up to me and they were like, "Listen, we love what you're doing. We love what you represent." They're both lesbian identified. I was trans, still not on testosterone. And they were like, "We love your voice. Would you want to sing a song with us tomorrow?" And it was the Toronto show. And I was like, "Yeah, man,
Yes,
of
yes,
course."
please.
So I was like, holy cow, I don't know what, like, I was like totally flipping out. And so there was this song called Kid Fears, which they sang, and then there was a male voice on it, and it was Michael Stipe from REM. So they asked me if I would do Michael Stipe's part. And of course, I'm like losing my mind thinking about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to screw it up.
Yeah.
And my tour manager slash sound person, um, Debbie Murphy, I'll never forget. She was this super non-gay, straight woman, engineer, ponytail chick. And she comes up to me and she goes, I know this song. We're going to get on the bus. I'm going to sing it with you. I'm going to sing their part, and you're going to sing Michael Stipe's part, and we're going to do this. And I rehearsed the song with my tour manager and sound person. It was such an epic thing on the bus from New York to Toronto. And then that performance, which was at Harborfront here in Toronto, I don't know what it was, but there was some magic that happened on stage. And I remember sort of like hitting my marks, and one of the members was just looking at me, and she did this like kind of like pumping thing, like I'd gotten it, like, and it was so amazing because that was our hometown. And I like look at the front and I see all these like queers from my community. And yeah, like I actually get like choked up just thinking about it. It was a beautiful moment. I have to be honest. Like that's got to be probably like if not the most, and I can't remember any other that was that fun and that important.
I ask other artists who have not had a recording contract if that's the dream. Would they want a recording contract? Would they want a label to pick them up? You've lived that life of being on a label, a rather substantial label to add. It wasn't a small label. Tell us what it was like. Was it everything that you expected?
No, it was uh I think the best word I can use was heartbreaking. It was not the world I expected it to be. It was not artist centric. It was all about business. There was a certain coldness that existed, specifically with the US label, not so much with Warner. Warner were great to us, but they were in a very different position than the other label were. Tommy Boy was. And I think both labels tried their best to do what they could for us, but I also saw that there was this idea of wanting to control, of wanting to shape us into things that we were not. I remember at one point they got us a stylist, and he was great. He was a lovely guy, but he was not dressing us the way that we saw ourselves. And there was really no combating the situation. It was like, you guys have to look this way, and this is how we're selling you, and blah, 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 blah. So there was an element of sort of losing your authenticity the more you were in the deal. Um, yeah, and there was like a coldness to it. And there was a lot of weird backdoor stuff happening that I didn't realize was happening at the time. That was really heartbreaking because you're working with these people and you think, oh, these folks are like really good people. And it's not that they weren't good
Yeah.
people. The thing is, they're business people, they're not artists. And so they're separating the two. Whereas I'm like, you see me as a product, but I'm a person. And the pressure to also be on tour so much and what it was doing to my body, what it was doing to my psyche, the band's psyche, all of those pressures. And then to come out of it being like, oh, we owe you guys money. So this is
Yeah.
interesting. We're making no money. We're going into debt. And now not only are you taking 75% of our cut, our manager is taking 20% of our cut. Our booking agent is taking 10% of our cut. We're playing shows for like $15,000, and each one of us is coming home because they were like, well, I guess we'll give you guys each 250 bucks. And we were like, oh, okay,
I
cool.
did quick math. I did quick math on that those percentages, and you end up owing money. You end up
You
having
end
to
up
pay
owing
money.
money. Oh yeah. And then when I
Crazy,
got back, like my
crazy.
paperwork, I remember, and this is, I'm about to start teaching other folks about this kind of stuff with a program that I just started called Transcendence and Sound, which is catered for trans folks, but uh, anybody can go in there and understand this part is that when a when a label representative shows up and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna buy you drinks and we're gonna buy you dinner," and they flew into a different city to come and see you just to check out how everything's going, And then you get your unrecouped balance paperwork back after you're dropped, and you see that dinner on your bill. You see the dinner that you thought they bought you is part of your debt. You see the flight that you never okayed as part of your debt. And that's when everything just goes, oh. And there are a lot of people who are very aware that this is happening. I was not one of those people. I was very green. I was in my early 30s, but I was a very green person. I was very trusting, very naive. And I should have known better, but I didn't. But it was an experience. And, you know, I have no resentment towards anybody I worked with, but it was heartbreaking at the time. But I've healed, so I'm good.
And you look at that bill and you think, wow, what a great guy I was picking up picking up the tab for that. I didn't realize I was a great
We're
guy,
always
but
like,
I'm a great guy.
I know.
Let's get into one of the songs that Lucas wrote. This song is from the album The Goddamn Flowers, released in 2022 as Lucas's first solo album of original music. For anyone who has been in love, listen to the hook, because we have all said it to ourselves. So let's take a listen to singer-songwriter Lucas Silveira and his song, The Refusal.
You say you can't sleep, and I wonder if it's on your mind. Because I can't sleep, and it's you that's wandering through mine. The scars that heat me, they won't let my heart in thee reside. Not coming through these vicious waves, this tide won't rise again, afraid to let it tie me down. No, I will never fall in love again. No, I will never know that no, I will never fall in love again, not I. Refuse to stand beneath the vicious wounded claw. Am I to lick your wounds, retreat after the thaw, so you can live in warmth that I provide? To leave me in the cold, no, I will never fall in love again. No, no, not I. No, I will never fall in love again, not I. How would you sleep if I was ever to in you confide? Or does the bliss sleep when I name it so you can deny? That you don't feel this, don't you tell me that I've lost my mind, while you let down with him with nothing left inside except the fear to leave. I know, 'cause I've been there, and this is why I'll never fall in love again. No, no, not I. No, I will never fall in love again, not I. Just close your fall in love with him beside you.
That was The Refusal by Lucas Silveira. Lucas, I listened to that song and more than once, 2, 3 times, and I listened to the lyrics and I think, who has not been in this position? If the only people that have not been in this position are the ones that have not loved and
Yeah.
and loved deeply.
Mhm.
So tell us about the song first of all, like
Mhm.
give us an outline of what the song is about, and then what was the inspiration behind the song, because it really sounds personal.
Yeah, it is personal, very. But so I had never been lucky in love like a lot of people. Complicated life, complicated person, complicated identity. And I'd been in long-term relationship after long-term relationship. And um, my buddy Graham once said the best thing when I told him about like breakups. And he said, you know, I always feel like every time I have a breakup, I lose a piece of my soul. And I was like, oh, thank God somebody understands what I feel like, because that's what I always felt like. Like it was almost like a death. And the last relationship that I had been in before I had written the song, it was many years before, was I had been married. And I remember when I got a divorce and I went through the heartbreak, and I decided for the first time in my life, I'm not going to get into another relationship. I am going to actually, for the first year, I'm not even going to go, I'm going to be abstinent. Like, I'm not going to have sex with people. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to take care of myself. And I did that. And then I slowly started going into the world of dating. And I realized that I was traumatized by the idea of being in love. And it was almost like I had love phobia.
Hmm.
I was sitting in my apartment and I had these amazing, lovely couple who lived upstairs from me who I had never heard a peep from. And I heard them having a bit of a fight. And I remembered this energy flowing through my body of like, it was almost like PTSD, like this. I started almost trembling, thinking all I remember saying to myself was, never again. I will never allow myself to ever be in something like that again. And then a couple of years passed. I found myself single. I called myself poly single. So I was dating, you know, different people very ethically, letting everybody know I don't want to be in a relationship. If you want to hang out and have fun, cool. That's all I'm ready to do. And then I walked into a bar one day to go to somebody's birthday, and in walks this woman. And I was like, ah, and like it was love at first sight. I had had no feelings for anyone. I had blocked it all out. I thought I'm going to be single and just have some fun. And then of course, I started having the most intense feelings for her. I started thinking she had the most intense feelings for me, but I did not know and I did not want to ask. I went and played a gig, and I remember when I was away, um, she was the only person I was communicating with. We were texting back and forth. We even talked on the phone. And I'm sitting in this hotel room thinking, oh, wow, this is the person who I'm doing this with now. And I got off the plane and I got home and I picked up the guitar. And what you hear was from beginning to end what I hit record on my iPhone on the demo. And I literally wrote the song in the length that it is.
How do people find out more about your music, Lucas? What's the website, socials, and streaming?
I'm on Instagram at Lucas Silveira. It's LucasSilveira. The Cliks.com is CLIKS. And that's become a production company for me. So it has my solo stuff there. It has the history of the Cliks. It has where all my shows are going to be. And I now have a new website that's he, him, they, them.com. I'm starting to do mentorship and peer gender transition support for folks who are assigned female at birth, so trans men and non-binary folks. And then I have a very specific program called Transcendence and Sound that is a music-based music industry based program that I'm teaching folks out of, and that is part of the he, him, they, them.com. Facebook, Lucas Silveira Music.
We have been in conversation with Lucas Silveira. Lucas, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, man. I had a great time.